Okay, next update. I'm trying to add, let me make sure mic's working. Good. I'm trying to add NPC wizards, rogue wizards, I'm calling them. They look just like the player, but for now they just have like a black robe and a red hat or something instead of the regular, I don't know, whatever the hell it is, like this. They look more villainous. Everything else is the same, subject to change, obviously. I didn't make them a child of the first person character because I don't want to override the functionality. I want to change a shit ton of it. So I literally just copied the same blueprint, fixed a couple things, and then boom, it's good. I have a behavior tree. By default, the AI can roam around. That's all they do. Okay, and that's all he does. He just walks around occasionally. That's it. Cool. And if he sees you, then he'll follow you until you get far enough away and you're far enough for long enough, then he'll forget. Okay, cool. So I think we're on, oh, there's no actual server thing going on, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So that's the little basic roaming shit, but I want these guys to be, I don't know, I want them to use spells, right? So I have an extra thing here. I'm going to add more determining logic so that the wizard can figure out the right spell to use and what he should do. For example, wizard sees the player. Okay, he should immediately check to see what spell he can use. Is he hurt? He should probably heal. Are you close enough to do a fireball or any of these other... Are you close enough to throw a ranged spell at? Okay, do a ranged spell. Are you not? Okay, get close enough. Or get close enough. And when you are, do it. If you're already close enough to do a close range spell, then do a close range spell. And basically check which spells are on cooldown and make determinations. For now, I don't have that yet. I had to do. I went through a process of, or basically the wizard now, the rogue wizard, can cast any spell at random, pretty much, and he's subject to the same cooldowns that the player is, and you can see it all update visually, so everything's the same. Here it is. So right now he's not blink. Oh, I can't do it because I'm not on, there's no voice isn't enabled right now. Oh, well, he just killed himself. But, what is it? Yeah, he basically just loops through his spells that are the same as the players for now. And then, that's it. Sometimes the magic missile will bug out. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm not sure why it is, but... yeah, he's just looping through any of the spells, and if he casts one twice in a row, and it's on cooldown, that like if he casted invisibility again, it wouldn't do anything. If he cast a crunch again, it wouldn't do anything. Now he's up there because he just did that. See, he just cast thunderclap again, didn't do anything. But invis is back, he can do that again. He's not hurt, so he didn't heal. His invis, nope, he's still on cooldown, so he's not anymore. Can't heal because he's already full health. He's doing that over and over again. Shield is fine. Yep, I thought that was gonna happen. He killed himself, and then after a few seconds he gets destroyed. And that's it for now. But I need to add better logic. To do this, basically what's happening here is the wizard, just like the player, when he spawns, he's given a spell book. When the spell book spawns, the wizard, the rogue wizard is assigned all the spells. So, like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So the rogue wizards always have every spell. They're not like players that might not have every spell depending on the map. They always have them. That way when you kill them, you can always get a reward and it's useful. So, what are we doing here? We have a task basically that in the behavior tree, the wizard's checking to see can he cast some shit. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna get a spell book. He's gonna check each spell book to find the ones that he can cast that aren't on cooldown, and then he has to decide based on what he can use. I don't have that part yet. But he does save all of the spells that are not on cooldown. After we save them all, this is going to be, okay, we need to choose one. But for now, it's just cast any of them. What do? Well, we make sure that we have at least one spell, because we shouldn't be getting a random element in an array of length 0, because if the array has length 0, you can't index it all. It's empty. So, that would be undefined behavior. You're accessing memory that hasn't been initialized. So, which might crash the program, might do whatever. It's probably going to throw an exception. That's probably what's going to happen. So what do? We make sure that we have some spells. There's no way to run out of spells, so it's fine. This is always going to be true. So it's not really needed, but whatever. Granted, if he had like 3 spells and he casted 1, 1, 1, and he's out of spells, then that's the only case. But they have all the spells, so there's no chance. Whatever. We pick a random element there. So if he doesn't have a spell, okay, it doesn't do anything. It fails. And then he'll go and start roaming again, because that's what he should do. But what's more likely, or what's guaranteed to happen, is instead we're gonna get a random element by reference, so that we're not copying the name. It's just cheaper. And then what are we gonna do? We're going to cast that spell. How do we cast that spell? For the player, I speak, and then the string pops out via a local player subsystem, and that's what acquires it with some lower level whatever shit that I didn't implement. That's the speech recognition software. Well, it's not even software, but the speech recognition software, the plugin, basically, right? Yeah, it's a plugin. We take that string, we use a switch statement, and then we call the correct logic. Well, what do we do for the rogue player? Well, he can't speak, so this part up here is technically useless, and I can delete that. I haven't done it yet because, I don't know, I don't want to delete everything just yet. And it's not hurting anything, so it's fine. It never executes, it's not making anything harder. It maybe adds a fucking megabyte to the damn size of the file. Fuck it, it's fine for now. So, what do we actually do? Well, we call this function cast spell from string. What do? We pick that random spell and we pass it in. This could be a name. In this case, it's a string. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I mean, because we convert it back both ways, it doesn't matter. It's fine for now. I'll fuck around with it later because this is all subject to change. I'm not worried about efficiency right now because the game already runs fine. So assuming you're on a laptop that's more recent than 2017, and even then you can still cast some spells. So what do? We get this is one thing. I had 2 choices. Either I probably made the wrong choice, but maybe it's helpful in the long term. We had this name for the spell, so that when we plug in a string, we can get the name. But the problem is the names of data table rows can't have spaces. Well, the name of the actual spell needs to have a space if I'm plugging it straight into this switch statement. So either I can create a new switch statement from scratch and remove all the spaces and then plug in the names as usual, which before had no spaces in them. Or I can add an extra variable in the, or an extra variable in the struct. So instead of just having a name, we now have a name ID, which is the name, and then a spoken name, which is the spaced out one. For example, Holy Light, name ID would be Holy Light, no spaces. The spoken name would be Holy Space Light. Just in case I want to somehow use it here, like maybe there's a spell that makes the opponent cast a spell. Well, if you cast it on me, I need a custom event here that passes that string into this switch statement. And then, or rather it actually happened here, I would have a Boolean to check, am I using the string that I spoke, or am I using one that is being sent here? And then we plug it straight in. So instead of me having to have a whole separate switch statement here just to remove the spaces, I could fix this by going into the dictionary of the speech recognition for the game and then adding in light spawn as one word and magic missile as one word and fire blast as one word. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fuck with the English language. I'm using these as you would actually speak them as separate words, except for Allahu Akbar, for example. That's the only one for now. So instead of me adding a separate one, I would rather, like, if I added a spell and you cast it on me and I cast a random spell, something like that. Or maybe if the spells have value, I cast my worst spell or something like that. And it cancels whatever I'm currently doing. Something that saves you in the moment. You see me casting a big spell and it cancels what I'm doing or something, and it uses this switch statement. I don't want to have a separate whole switch statement here and then re-plug them into the same shit. I'd rather just use the same thing. Which means we need to store the actual name ID of this and the spaced out name ID. The reason we can't just have the spaced out ID, is that if I want to refer to a spell by its name and it has a space in it, I can never plug it in and get the right row because it won't there won't be any values found because the names can't have spaces. So we need a space name and a normal name. I've named them the spoken name because that has the space, and then I've named it the spell name ID because that's the actual identifier for it. So the spell book, when it's using these to assign spells to itself, to the player, it's using the non-spaced ones. It's taking the row names, which are the same as the name IDs, non-spaced. But when it's using when it's determining a material from the spell, it's using the same shit, the name ID. When we go into the player and I actually cast a spell, it's going to be using the name ID. So this is not one. Light doesn't have a cooldown, so we don't need to check. But freeze has a cooldown, so we need to pass in the name to go and make the cooldown. So what do? We pass in the name ID. That way, if freeze needs to access this data table again, it can plug in the name ID to get out the values of freeze. But if freeze was 2 words, like freeze bolt or ice bolt, but 2 words, and I only had the spaced name, and I sent that to the freeze actor, and then in the freeze actor, we went and created or used this data table row, and I plug in the name that I passed to it, we won't get any results. So we need both names. A lot of semantics there. It's kind of annoying, hard to figure out for a second, but we got it. And now that's it. So we have a simple behavior tree. We have basic little roaming shit. We have an area about which he can roam, and it'll be this whole area, whatever. I'm just using the hall because it's easy for now. And then that's it. So now I need to add the actual smarter logic so that we can figure out what he wants to do. Like, if an area is dark, I want him to cast the light spell. If he's really hurt, like, I don't know, having him, if he needs to flee, then maybe he'll use invisibility to run away, or maybe he'll use invisibility to flank you, something like that. I'm not sure exactly how I want it to be. I don't want to go too crazy. I want to make this game as quick as possible and ship this thing. But I also want it to be polished. My main problem is that the final game that I want in life needs to have really intelligent enemies. NPCs, AI. So I prefer NPCs. It's not really AI. I mean, I guess I'm artificially creating intelligence, but I mean, it's just a sequence of instructions. I don't think that's intelligence. So I don't think I'm operating on some sequence of instructions. So I think that's what intelligence is. So I want enemies to be smart. I want them to secretly sneak around and strike me and slash my Achilles, and then I fall down, and then they gang up on me, and then they realize when I'm about to use some big attack, or they can feel the tension in me, and then they back up because they know I'm about to attack. I want that in there. So it's hard for me to want to create stupid enemies. In Mage Arena, the only enemies are some wraith that lives in the mausoleum that just goes up to the player. Once he's in range, it doesn't attack. It's the same as this. Just replace this with a straightforward attack towards the player, and when it overlaps with the player, it applies like half your health in damage. That's it. Super easy. And the other is the wizards, and it's just like a random. It's basically this. It's just there are only 3 spells. And really this happens first. So they roam around, but then when they see the player, they approach the player, and then they cast a random spell that they have, if they're close enough. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I might be fine just there. But I want them to be able to... I mean, because I'm going to have so many spells, it would be cool if the enemies were just like 1 level smarter. That's it. I want it to be polished, and that's it. The enemy comes in and suicide bombs. The enemy uses invisibility and flanks you, and then shoots you in the back. The enemy's really hurt. He uses invisibility to get away, and then heals out of sight. Or instantly heals and counterattacks. Your fireball's coming, he uses a shield to intercept it, and then counters with his own by stepping out to the side. Like the environment query system, EQS, I think, where it draws a bunch of spheres around him, and then you can set value. You can update the value of each sphere, how valuable it is, depending on anything, whatever. The further away from an object it is, the more valuable. And then the AI dynamically finds which sphere is the most valuable, the one that's the furthest away from anything. Basically, he runs away from any surfaces, and then does something. Something like that. You could do the opposite. The one that's furthest out of sight from the nearest player. So the nearest player's found. We check him. And then we draw a bunch of traces from all the spheres to see where is most out of sight. And then we move there. And then we heal. So we only heal out of sight. Or we only use invisibility out of sight so that you have no clue where he's coming from. Anything like that. Or maybe he uses deafness on you first and then uses invisibility so you have absolutely no clue. Because if you're invisible, you still make footsteps. But if you're deaf and he's invisible, you can't detect him until he comes out. So that's what I want. I want the AI to be better. That's what I'm working on now. So, yep. A lot of behavior tree action.